Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, I want to give you an update on Anna Walsh. Her husband has been arrested for misleading investigators in this case. Since then, even more damaging evidence has been found. Let's go ahead and dive into what we know at this time. New evidence has been has been unearthed in letting us know what do they have on Brian Walsh. You see, the Massachusetts cops, at first they were like, okay, we're going to stop this search until more comes to light. And my gosh, more has come to light. You see, cops have they found blood, they found a hatchet, they found a hacksaw and a rug in the search for the missing mom of 3. That's what people are sharing now all over. Sources told WBZ officers found the evidence near Brian Walsh's mother's home in Peabody, and that as they continue the hunt for Anna 9 days after she vanished. I believe we're going on 10th day today. The items were reportedly found in a dumpster station, which also serves as a compactor in the Peabody area, not far from his mom's house in Swampscott. And so this comes after it was revealed that Brian Walsh did a Google search for how to dispose of a 115-pound woman's body. But not only that, cops also found a knife in their basement with blood on it, as well as more blood in the room, and is said that he spent $450 in Home Depot on cleaning products. Walsh, he did appear in court yesterday where he pleaded not guilty to misleading cops during the search for Anna. And truth is, a lot's going to continue to come out in this very strange case. This comes after Anna's Serbian mother revealed her daughter begged her to fly to the U.S. just a week before she vanished on New Year's Day. Now, Anna, she's a real estate executive, and she was reported missing after her employees, people that she worked with, were reporting her missing. And then the husband later reported her missing. Reminder, she wasn't reported missing until the employees, the people that she worked with, her employer, reported her missing when she wasn't showing up for work, when she wasn't showing up for her emergency meeting, when she wasn't showing up. Later on is when the husband finally reported her missing. So if they never report her missing, we don't really know. You see, she's a real estate executive. She asks her mother, Malanka Lujubicic, not too sure how to pronounce that. She asked her on Christmas Day to catch a flight to Washington, D.C. on December 26. Her mother said the sudden plea to get together over the holidays made her think there were some problems in her daughter's life. Come to find out, we don't know what the fear was. But to only have this happen not long after is definitely damaging evidence. And so a lot of stuff is coming out. You see, Anna, she vanished on January 1st when she failed to catch a flight to Washington, D.C. for work, which is something that she did on a regular basis. She would go back and forth between Massachusetts and Washington, D.C. You see, her husband, Brian Walsh, after being charged with misleading police in regards to this investigation, he says not guilty. You see, police, they have been searching for the missing mother and were last night seen digging through the trash, searching for any evidence after raiding the family home in Cohasset, Massachusetts. Anna's mother, she told Fox News Digital, she just said, "Please, Mama, come tomorrow. Clearly, there must have been some problems. And now I can't forgive myself for not just letting things fall where they may and just go. And whatever happens to me, happens." That's what she shared. I don't know what she means by whatever happens to me. Maybe that she's going to be depressed or she's going to be guilty. Officers in protective suits and police dogs were at the facility in Newbury Street in Peabody, though it is unclear exactly what was found. Now, again, even though they're not too sure, a lot of sources are saying exactly what was found. Hacksaw, a hatchet, they found blood, and they found the rug from the basement. Now, it was just a basement. It wasn't like an additional bedroom or a different additional living area. It was a basement. And that's where they found this, meaning that the kids most likely were upstairs when he did what we believe to be the unthinkable. It's not looking good for this guy at the moment. You see, because nothing is adding up. The art swindler, he is said to have been in Home Depot wearing a mask and surgical gloves. But he tells police something else. He gave them a different story. He didn't tell them he was at Home Depot. He was supposed to be going with his child to go and do what he normally does, drop the child off. And so, though he's already been convicted in federal court on felony fraud by wire and is currently on pre-sentencing probation, the probation conditions include monitoring and home confinement. In this picture right now, you see Anna with her mother, who is completely heartbroken. Brian, he must request any leave from his home each week and specify the time and need for such leave. On the week beginning Sunday, January 1st, 2023, Walsh was granted leave for dropping his children off at school each day from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and picking up the kids from 3:15 to 6:45. Among other approved leave times was 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. for shopping on Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. And so on Sunday, January 1st, Walsh, he had requested travel between 3 to 9 p.m. to drop off his mother. Walsh, he told investigators that his mother had a recent cataract surgery and she was staying with him at his residence so he could assist her. Brian said that he had his time scheduled so he could bring her home after her recovery. During the interviews, Walsh, he stated that his mother had recovered from the surgery quicker than expected and had driven herself home. However, he said he still used the time that he had approved to go visit her and run errands for her. The errands, he said, were trips to Whole Foods and CVS that investigators later showed did not occur through hours of viewing video evidence. It is also important to note that this is the day one of Anna being missing. The days that he's saying, "I'm traveling, running errands." And so Brian's statements to investigators about his whereabouts on Monday, January 2nd, 2023 were consistent in that he took his oldest child for ice cream or a smoothie at Press Juice Bar in Norwood. This was during the morning hours that he is allotted for school drop-off between 8 and 10:30 a.m. See, there was no school on Monday, January 2nd, 2023 because it was the holiday times. Investigators later discovered video evidence of Brian at the Home Depot in Rockland wearing a black surgical mask, blue surgical gloves, and making a cash purchase. This trip was made in violation of his probation conditions during the time he is allotted to pick up his kids from school. So he was using that time instead, because they don't have any school, to go to Home Depot. This data from Walsh's cell phone data extraction, given on consent, also showed that the device traveled to the areas of Brockton and Abington during the week beginning January 1st, 2023. Now, the itinerary for Walsh's leave from home does not include such towns for approved travel. So basically, he did not have approval to go to Brockton and Abington. And it is shared, this is not a complete list of Walsh's approved leave from home and possible probation violations. The intentional, willful, and direct responses to questions about his whereabouts on the days of Sunday, January 1st, 2023, and Monday, January 2nd, 2023, were a clear attempt to mislead and delay investigators. You see, investigators, they explained to Brian that he would naturally be suspected of harming his wife due to her disappearance. This is normal, right? And he gave an untruthful answer to account for his whereabouts. You see, he was not honest about it. And that's what led them to continue investigating all his whereabouts. And you can see the dumpster area where they dumped the trash and started looking for it where they found evidence. And so, the intentional, willful, and direct responses to questions about his whereabouts on the day, Sunday, January 1st, and Monday, January 2nd, again, a clear attempt to mislead and delay investigators. You see, investigators, they explained that, hey, you're going to naturally be suspected of doing harm to your wife because she disappeared, and they would need to account for his whereabouts. Your wife is missing. We need to know where you were, when you were there, why you were there. And the fact that he was asked a specific question and gave an untruthful answer that led investigators out of the area, it caused a clear delay in the search for the missing person, Anna Walsh. Brian intentionally gave the untruthful statement, knowing investigators would need to travel and corroborate such statements. And, this is part of any investigation, right? Any investigation into a missing person, physical evidence, video evidence, this has a risk of being lost if it's not found soon enough. And so, of course, they're going to be looking for any video surveillance, any video, any cell phone data. Truth is, it's not looking good for this guy at this time. You see, he's an art swindler. He's already been convicted. He's already been found guilty of being an art swindler, where he stole 2 paintings from a friend and then sold copies of it. Like it wasn't even the authentic one that he was getting $80,000 for. But the most creepy part that bothers me is his Google search for how to dispose of a 115-pound woman's body. You see, initially, authorities treated the case as a missing person, but sources say they now believe Anna could have been murdered, describing her as 5'2" and 115 pounds in an appeal for her whereabouts. Walsh was earlier seen on surveillance video buying heavy-duty cleaning supplies, despite him telling cops that he had been around home the time Anna was last seen. He said he was asleep when she left. He told police that his wife vanished after she took a car to Boston Logan Airport on January 1st at around 6 a.m. However, rideshare services show no pickups at the family's home, and Anna's cell phone continued pinging at the property for 2 days when he said she was gone. Did you hear that? Her cell phone continued pinging at the property for 2 days. Again, Anna was not reported missing until January 4th. He says that she left January 1st, but the phone was pinging days after that. My friends, it is not looking good for this guy at all. Since then, cops have been combing the seaside town of Cohasset for any sign of her. Thank you for the person that helped me understand how to pronounce Cohasset. Authorities say Walsh gave cops misleading statements about his and his wife's actions around the time of her disappearance, buying himself ample time to clean up a possible crime scene. And so, Prosecutor Lynn Beland, I think that's how you pronounce the name, not 100% sure. Prosecutor Lynn Beland told the court on Monday these various statements caused a delay in the investigation to the point that during the time frame when he didn't report his wife and gave various statements, that allowed him time to either clean up evidence, dispose of evidence, and causing a delay. Now, investigators, as I shared, they have impounded 2 trash trailers in this search, with a business owner saying police contacted him on Saturday night, adding that they were last emptied just before New Year, which means if he put something in there, it should still be in there. But you see, the art swindler, Brian, he was recorded leaving Cohasset, the police station, on Monday morning, where he smirked and smiled at reporters, which was extremely chilling, in my opinion, on this whole thing. Because what is there to smile about? He was charged with fraud after selling 2 fake Andy Warhol paintings for $80,000 in 2016, meaning he is on house arrest pending his sentencing in court. This means that he must report when he goes anywhere, but he was caught on camera going to Home Depot on January 2nd after saying he never left the house except to take his son for ice cream. And now he's been arrested as of Sunday evening, 2 days ago, as detectives continue to search for his real estate executive wife. She has not used her phone or credit cards since disappearing and has not been to work at all. His bail has been set at $500,000 in cash after police searched the home the couple shared and discovered blood on a knife and in the basement. You heard me report about the fire in their previous home, wondering if there's any relation. But does he have money for bail? I'm thinking he does. Because if the bail is set at $500,000 in cash, does that mean that he still have the 10%? Does that mean that he only has to come up with $50,000? Generally, I don't know what a cash bond is. If bail is set at $500,000 in cash, does that mean the $500,000 has to be paid in cash? Or is it 10% of that, which is $50,000? Because I'm going to tell you, if it's only $50,000, he's going to have bail set. You see, their home that they previously sold, they bought that home for $800,000. They sold it for like 1.35. That's a lot of money. $1.35 million, which tells me they probably have more than $50,000 to blow away, and he has $50,000 for bail. Now, if he has to come up with the whole $500,000, I'm not too sure yet, right? Prosecutors at the Quincy District Court say that Brian's statements, including claiming that he didn't leave the house, is what caused the delay in this investigation, which is what he was arrested for. Now, let's make it very clear. It is unclear who that blood belongs to. But prosecutors added that Walsh bought himself time. And that's what people are saying. They bought himself time to clean up any evidence that was left behind, to get rid of any evidence that was left behind in order to delay this investigation. And so the surveillance footage, it has not been released yet from the Home Depot, which proved that he was lying to officers, which showed him buying taps, mops, buckets, cloths, and various kinds of tape. And so we don't know what that was for, but I'm telling you what, that doesn't sound like it's just for its and giggles, right? And so here we have, he was wearing a black surgical mask, blue surgical gloves, and used cash to pay for that. It didn't help him much because obviously they're still going to be able to track you down. And so, again, as I shared earlier, he claimed that he went to Whole Foods and CVS on January 1st, but there were no receipts or surveillance footage to back that up. And Anna Walsh's friends say her disappearance is way out of character for her and that she would never abandon her 3 young sons. And so she didn't just disappear and go away on her own. And now that we find that there's blood on a knife, a broken knife, why would he even leave the weapon at the crime scene? I mean, he's not an expert at this. He most likely never did this before, but he didn't clean up as well as he was hoping, did he? And so Norfolk County District Attorney's Office said police developed probable cause to believe that Anna Walsh's husband, Brian Walsh, had committed the crime of misleading police investigators. That's all he's charged with at this time. There could be some more breaking news by the time I get off here. You know, I will check so that we're staying on top of this. And so early on, he was cooperating with investigators before his sudden arrest on Sunday. And so, I do not think this looks good at all for him. Let me know in the comments what you think. I will say innocent until proven guilty. But the mom, she's so distraught about this. She feels like clearly there were some problems in her life. And so Anna begged her to visit her a week before she vanished. This is, why did she want her? Why did she beg her? Was she unsafe about something? Was there something that she was not feeling right about? And so, Anna, she expressed her support for her cheating husband in a letter to the judge. You heard that right, my friends. She was cheated on. You see, Anna Walsh, she expressed her support for her husband, the art fraudster, in a letter that she wrote to a judge last summer, just months before he was charged with misleading a police investigation into her disappearance. Walsh, she shared touching anecdotes about her family life in this letter in June to a federal judge asking for clemency for Brian Walsh, who was on house arrest awaiting sentencing for selling 2 counterfeit Andy Warhol paintings on eBay for $80,000. And so she literally, you can see the letter here. She shared, during these 8 months, our family was able to be together during many of the milestones. Our youngest son turned 1, our middle son started to speak, and our eldest son, who had just started kindergarten when we saw you last, is now only a few weeks away from completing the year and preparing for first grade. He also lost his first tooth. Anna went on to say Brian was a big help after her mother suffered a brain aneurysm in December of 2021. And she writes, not only did he save her life, but he also brought her and the entire family comfort and joy during the course of her illness. That's what she wrote to the judge. And she also said, while helping his mother-in-law, Anna also said Brian continued to take care of his ailing elderly mother and be there for his sons day in and day out. And she also wrote, whether it was walking for World Peace Day in Dorchester or stopping by the Pine Street Inn in Boston to drop off food and sanitary supplies, Brian has been teaching our young boys from early age how important it is to share the joy and be in contribution with time and resources. You see, the court documents reveal Brian is the primary caretaker of their 3 boys, ages 6, 4, and 2, while Anna spends a lot of time working for a real estate firm in DC. Every week she was home in Massachusetts, but it was more like 1.5, maybe sometimes 2.5 days, because the real estate firm that she worked for was in DC. And again, those are the ones that said, Anna has not been to work. We are concerned. And Anna also wrote to the federal judge, Brian has been working consistently on breaking the past bad habits of his family, and we are looking forward to the new chapter of his life. She's pleading with the judge to have clemency. She wrote these things out. And it's kind of heartbreaking. She went to fight for her husband, who is now alleged to have done the unthinkable. We, let's be real, do not know 100% sure. So we have to take it all with a grain of salt. Is that not a fair statement, my friends? So I'm doing my best to share in a professional manner as well. You can see the whole letter to the Honorable Judge Douglas P. Woodcock. And so she wrote this letter in support of her husband. He did wrong. She was still standing by him by what we can tell. We don't really know outside of that. But I'm telling you, the fact that he Google searched, that's what records are showing. That's what the internet records for the husband of the missing Massachusetts woman searched how to dispose of a body. That is chilling in and of itself. I am blown away when I saw that. And so police, they're investigating the disappearance of the woman. And now his internet records showed searches for how to dismember a body. That's what sources tell CNN. And prosecutors say that blood and bloodied knife were found in a couple's basement. I know I'm sharing a lot in words that I have to be a little careful for, and I'm doing my best to do that. But, after she was reported missing by her co-workers on January 4th, she was gone for a few days. She hadn't shown up, right? Police began questioning Brian. And many of his statements about his activities and whereabouts at the time of the disappearance were later to be found untruthful, as we know from the affidavit that I read a little earlier. And so he's only been charged with misleading. We don't know more. We're probably going to find out more today, is my thought process. And truth is, this is as heinous as it can get. Sadly, this happens way too much. Is that not a fair statement? Would you agree this happens way too much? Husband does it to the wife. Sometimes the wife does it too. Let's not act like the women never do these things. It's just not nearly as much as the husband do it to the women, which is heartbreaking. And so, police searching the trash station, they find some evidence near his mom's home. And it is said to be that they found trash bags with blood, hatchet, hacksaw, rug, and used cleaning supplies. That does not look good for him at all. And, my heart breaks for her mom, who's like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have went over there. And now I don't know if I could have saved her or if I could have been there and if something would have changed. She's going to be going through a lot, my friends. And I ask you, if you are a person of prayer, please pray for this family. Please pray for her mom to find justice. Please pray that we find the missing mom, hopefully alive, but right now it's not looking like that. And truth is, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good with why he did this. It doesn't look good for him. It doesn't look good for her. But if he did commit this crime, who was watching the kids? Who was watching the kids? What type of murder weapon was used? Where is that weapon? Where did he dispose of her if he did? If he did. When did he do it? Was it on the first? Was it on the... I'm thinking it's going to be the first is what my thought is. But when? Why did he do this? Was it financial reasons? What's the motive behind this? Was there a life insurance policy? He was looking to be serving some time. Was he afraid that they're going to leave them? That the family would leave him? She's an attractive woman, right? She was probably going to move on. Who knows if she already had something going on? We don't really know all that. There's nothing that can warrant anyone losing their lives by the hands of someone else. No one. And so, when it comes to this, we just wish it never happened, right? It is sad. It's heartbreaking. It's mind-blowing as well. They are literally searching and searching and searching. And so, but at the same time, where is Anna Walsh? Missing mom of 3. We want to know what has happened, but at the same time, we want justice. Because if all of this is true that I'm sharing with you, which I believe it is, I do my best to share what looks like. Maybe I can't verify it myself by the actual source because I'm obviously not there. But can we understand? Was he upset because did his father leave him out of the will? Is that that's something that's circulating out there? Could that be true? Did his dad leave him out of the will and he's an angry man? We don't really know. Truth is, there's a lot that we don't know. We do not know. What we want to know is, where is Anna Walsh? That's really all that matters at this time. Literally. Is that not a fair statement? My friends, at the end of the day, this is not about me. This is about being a voice for the victims. They no longer can do that, right? This is about letting you know what could go wrong in this crazy world we live in. You know something, you see something, you think something, and it does look suspicious. Don't keep it to yourself. Because it's people who actually report things when things get done. The little Kajari girl, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, went missing until the school spoke up and said, "Where's your child?" The parents didn't do anything. And then they said, "We're coming back. We want answers." Then they go to school and say, "Well, my child is missing." But you don't think to tell law enforcement? That's a red flag, my friends. If you see red flags like that, speak up, speak out. It's key. My friends, at the end of the day, hey, this is not about me. This is about being a voice for the victims. If this is the type of content you like to follow, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like if you got some value out of this. And hit that notification bell. That way you get notified whenever I go live. Again, my friends, be careful, be safe, be aware. See you next time. Peace. Have a great day.